Hello and welcome to Midweek Expresso with me, P.S. Connolly, and across the other side of Skype from me is...
Daniel Demant. Hello everyone, I hope you are well and safe again.
Yep, obviously we're doing this over Skype again because we're still currently in lockdown because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So today we're going to be talking about nutrition and the importance of good nutrition, how to manage it, what sort of things you should be looking for, and how it can impact you on some areas that you don't think it could impact you.
Yes, definitely. And where to source your food from as well. So that's very important, you know, to try and get most of your produce and your meats and what have you locally as possible.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I don't eat meat, so I'll take Dan's word for it.
Yeah, he's one of those weird ones, one of them.
One of them weird ones. But yeah, on the sort of grounds of shopping locally and keeping it local, it's actually a really valid point because no matter whether it's meat, fruit, vegetables, it's always better to get it from a farmer. Do you agree?
Wait. I do, but you said meat, fruit, vegetables.
meat, fruit, vegetables.
Yes, it is definitely better to get it from a local farm or local as possible, yeah.
Yeah, because all the quality of the taste is so much nicer, isn't it? I mean, I bet you'd much prefer get your chicken from a local farmer than budget superstore. I know you're into your chicken.
Yep, cluck chicken. Yep. Yeah, I am too much. Sorry, I keep sneezing there. 1 second. Sorry, people, just sneezing away there. Yes, I was saying, Piers, before we start recording about obviously he's not a meat eater because he's one of those weird ones. Anyway, getting proper free range organic chicken or whatever meat it is, or I said poultry. Poultry, that's the one. Yeah, there is a big difference. Like I was saying to Piers that before the lockdown, the butcher I was actually getting my chicken from and my beef and bacon and whatever else I was getting at the time.
Yeah.
Depending what day it was. But if it's Fish Friday, you've got to go to a fishmongers, unfortunately.
Of course.
Which luckily we do have one locally, which I should mention, but we'll say that for another time. Maybe put that in the link at the bottom of the end of the show, or in the links.
Yeah.
Like when I was getting chicken breasts, you sort of like, you pay a bit more for the nose for it, but there is a big difference, and I wasn't really 100% convinced because I was like 2 weeks having it. Like when I was having chicken, I was having it only from chicken breast, or I was getting the whole chicken from the butchers. Which I really should mention who this butcher is as well, which I will do in the description below. So after like buying it a couple of weeks, you think like, is there a difference from like supermarket chicken, even if it's free range organic? And there is a big difference. So I decided after about a week or two of having it from this local butchers that I cooked both. One from I bought organic chicken breast from Tesco's. And to cook the both together from the butcher's and Tesco's one, and obviously the butcher's one was like heads above and beyond, much better quality. Because sometimes nothing wrong with the organic from Tesco's or wherever you're getting your organic chicken from, but it was still a lot better and worked out a bit cheaper as well. Still getting it from the butcher's free range organic chicken breast. Much more succulent, much more tasty, and there was no rubberness. Sometimes, not necessarily. I don't know that for a fact with the organic chicken breasts from Tesco's or whatever supermarket you may get your chicken from, but sometimes it can be a bit rubbery. That it wasn't rubbery from the organic chicken from Tesco's, but the organic free range chicken I got from the butchers was above and beyond much better. So it definitely. Is
there a nutritional benefit as well? I'm guessing because it's free-range organic and it hasn't been processed. Obviously, free-range organic is available at supermarkets, but it's not quite the same, is it?
No, it's not the same. But the most important thing is that it's the hormones, like sort of mass-produced other animals not having the correct diet. They're getting fed like you've seen, mostly now that you've got Game Changers on Netflix. There's so many different like documentaries on different ways of eating, like being vegetarian, vegan, or flexitarian, or carnivore, full carnivore. This means you have no vegetable, you just eat meat, and you've got to supplement all your other like vitamins and minerals from certain supplementation, because you're not getting it. Because a steak is like the perfect like kind of like thing to have, like it's got a lot of vitamin minerals are key, but obviously you can't eat it every day, and we're not meant to have no more than 80 grams or 70 grams of red meat every 3 days or something like that. You know, you're not meant to have no more than that. Obviously you don't have to worry about that because you're vegetarian, but so what I was getting at is the hormone, because of they're being fed like, you know, not the natural diet, you know, they're not in the natural pastures, and they're not like roaming the fields naturally, some of these mass-produced animals. So the ones from the butchers obviously are free range, you know, as you know, I'm sure there is, because there was a big difference in taste, because I proved it to myself by cooking the two different ones. Now, nothing wrong with the Tesco's chicken organic breast that I had, because I thought, let's test it by organic, you know, like, because the butcher's telling me exactly where it's coming from. He has it in his shop, he's got it labelled up, and Tesco said it's just organic and just says it's farmed such and such, but that doesn't really say.
Doesn't really mean much to you.
No, and I can't really remember if it actually said whereabouts it was farmed from.
Yeah,
I can't remember if it did. I didn't take much notice of that, and I didn't know I was going to talk about this about 4 months ago on our podcast. Sorry, go on.
So going back to the nutritional benefit of the chicken and more broadly meat. Obviously, where I'm a vegetarian, I don't get any meat, so I don't get some of the vitamins that you can only get in meat and fish oils and stuff like that. So I often find myself supplementing with things like ferroglobin, which is it's like a medicinal sort of. You take it on a spoon, have it twice a day. It's meant to top up your iron, your vitamin B6 and B12, which I believe you can only get from red meat. I believe. Don't quote me on that. It's their marketing.
Iron, if you're talking about iron itself, is a quick thing like Rice Krispies. I mean, if you have a bowl of about 30 to 35 grams Rice Krispies, there's I think, and again, don't quote it. It depends if you get it from the brand Kellogg's, Rice Krispies,
or a knockoff.
I think the amount of iron differs between like 2.5 grams to 4.5 grams a serving, and I think the DAR. Which is now, it used to be its recommended daily allowance, or has it changed now? Can't remember. But did I say DLR?
DRA.
Yeah, DRA, and then there's that, and there's RDA. Which I can't remember which one is what. Allowance, that's the one. Yeah. I think it's 3.5. I think you're meant to get.
It's more the B vitamins that I think I'm missing out on. Because they're
again Rice Krispies.
Oh really? Wow. Well, I mean they're attributed to fatigue and tiredness, aren't they? So that's sometimes where I don't get the vitamins, or I've skipped out on a dosage of ferroglobin or something like that. I do feel quite tired and slow that day. Mm-hmm. I didn't really notice it till recently. But I think it is a problem that a lot of us veggies face, is that where we're not getting certain vitamins, we do lack a bit of energy. Some people are absolutely fine. Some, it might not even be that. It might just be that I'm tired. But it's definitely an interesting one.
By the way,
it's a little sacrifice.
Yeah, sure. I just looked up quickly on my Chrome monitor, and I was saying about 3.5 milligrams. Yeah. Sorry. The actual recommended RDA. Fuck me. RDA is 8 milligrams a day, and the maximum is 45 grams a day. But someone told me if you have more than 10, you could cause yourself going to the shits quite a lot. So you've got to be careful of that. But I don't know if that's
iron, is it?
Yeah, but I don't know if that's just through supplementation. If you have too much food, supplementation way of having it, not through like natural food. So
quite possibly, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not saying if you're vegetarian just eat Rice Krispies. I'm saying even that with your wheat bran and wheat flakes and stuff like that, fruit and fiber, but that or just the fiber like brown flakes stuff, they got like, quite a lot of iron as well. So there is options for vegetarians, and a lot of your pulses now, a lot of B vitamins in it, iron as well. I'm not sure how much off the top of my head, because I can't go through all the food groups, but if he was going to talk about iron specifically for a little moment, I would have done a bit more preparation for that. But yeah, there are other options than just eat red meat to get your vitamins as well. There's just a bit of a long way going about it. But if you are a carnivore eater, which I am myself, you can get everything. So basically you can get your fix, and then the next day you maybe don't have to worry about getting it in so highly the next day. But unless you're really low in iron, then you have to take a supplementation plus eat that higher iron diet as well.
Yeah, fair enough. Should we have a little bit of a chat about how not eating the right things can impact your mood and your mental health?
Well, it goes without saying, isn't it? Having too much stimulants, obviously, alcohol, caffeine, just not having a good balance.
Throws your hormones out of whack, doesn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, funny enough, like when I was watching Mark Sesson, from Primal Health, which is someone I'm very interested in. He was talking about the most important thing on top of nutrition is rest and sleep. So he's saying you could eat the best diet in the world, but if you're stressed and chronically sleep deprived, all that doesn't matter. You can get all your macros and your macros and your micros, vitamins and minerals, on point. But if you're not sleeping well and you're chronically stressed all the time from not sleeping well and stressed in your day, then all this doesn't matter. You could have the best diet, you can get everything on point. You could be exercising pretty well, but then no fat loss will come. The consistent energy you're looking for would diminish. It just doesn't work. The body has to be in a continuous decent regulation.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I discovered that some foods are potentially better for your mood and your mental health and all that sort of thing. So I've found a little list. I'll leave the link where I found this below. But it's a brilliant list. It tells you all the best foods for your mind.
Mental health, 7 top foods to improve your mental health.
That's it. Yeah. Right, okay. So number 7 is oily fish. Obviously, that doesn't work for me, but some brilliant. Like,
you better get on your
flax
seeds
in fish. Yeah. Berries are fantastic, aren't they? They've got so much goodness in them. So many vitamins as well, and yogurt as well. Quite often for a breakfast, sometimes I'll do like a Greek yogurt with blueberries in it, and maybe a drizzle of honey if I'm needing a bit of sugar. But packed full of goodness. As you were saying, whole grains and walnuts. You love a good walnut, don't you?
I do love a good walnut.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. Leafy greens. So particularly
cow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, greens, and then and then beans. And this website is saying it's the musical fruit. There you go. Just going back to the walnuts, though, you've actually got a recipe that you use walnuts in, don't you? Because you've made it for me.
Oh, did I make you the pumpkin porridge, or did I make the banana one? Oh, okay, right. Yeah, it's not originally my idea. I actually adapted it from Jeff Cavalier from Athlete X. He calls it his pumpkin porridge, and I call it my pumpkin pie porridge. Just call it a bit different, and plus for me to remember it, how white water.
Yeah.
Obviously you got your oats, your choice of milk, a bit of water as well. Obviously, if you're using full fat milk, you want to balance out the ratio of the fat content and starch. The saturated fat, and that, you can always do 100 mil milk and then a bit more water, whatever. So your choice of milk, grains, choice of milk, walnuts, 25 to 30 grams of walnuts. Crush it in your hand, or if you've got crushed nuts, you can buy them crushed, but it's costing you another £1.50 probably to get them crushed. So you might as well just buy them whole and then crush them yourself in your hand. Pumpkin puree, which is very rare to come across, but Tesco's at the moment are doing it, and I can't remember the brand now because again, I didn't know Pearson was going to ask me this. It's King something it's called, but it's American brand.
Yeah.
You find it in the Whole Food, not Whole Food, the World Foods, is it called in Tesco's? Yeah. Orange can, pumpkin puree, you can't miss it, and it's gluten free. It's not no added sugar, no added preservative. It's just pure puree pumpkin flesh. So
pumpkin's got some brilliant stuff on it, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, lots of. Oh yeah, I mean again,
where does the list start really?
Yeah, lots of benefits, but it's weird because it's different from the pumpkin seeds. A seed, it's got slightly different density of the minerals and vitamins into it. Obviously, it's more high in fat content in the seed, but from the flesh, it's the other end. It's more like carb, not more carbs, but it's more on the carb end. But the minerals and minerals are more in that, and with the obviously seeds, it's more the fats and stuff.
Yeah. I find gets quite a bad rap for the fatty side of things, but you do need some fats. But I feel like smoothies actually get quite a bad rap for having too much fat in them. But if you do them right, you don't need to have too much fat in them at all. I actually came across one the other day. It was just on Snapchat, but it was called the Hangover Cure, and what it is it's supposedly if you've got a headache, this will cure 40% of them. Now it's got cactus in it, ginger root and cherry, just those 3 ingredients blended up. Supposedly, it's a pretty good mix.
As you just mentioned that, it's just giving me an idea. Maybe we should because episode 6, which is coming shortly after episode 5, because this is episode 5. Actually, we haven't been announcing what episode we're doing, but this is episode 5. Episode 6, which we're recording shortly, we are going to pick from each of the subjects we cover. We're going to pick one challenge from each section and do it. Maybe we should try this cactus thing and see if actually
this
the headaches.
Yeah,
we should try it out.
That could be a shout. Yeah.
Going back to the porridge, I didn't finish my ingredients.
Yes, carry on. Sorry,
so oats, choice of meal, walnuts, or any choice of nuts really, but I'll put walnuts in this one.
Yeah.
Cinnamon. I also put vanilla protein powder in it as well because I'm not having eggs at the moment. It's a different discussion for another time.
It's vegan protein powder as well, isn't it?
It's vegan vanilla protein powder, yeah. So actually, weirdly though, I actually prefer it from the whey protein that I used to have. Really? But anyway, yeah. What am I missing? So yeah, start cooking it up on a hob or in the microwave when it comes out. Actually, I put the protein powder towards the end, not actually during. Unless I'm cooking it on the hob, you can put it and cook it during, because if you do it in the microwave, it goes too dry too quick. So that's a little tip there. So if you're going to cook it on the hob, you can do it like as you go and monitor the consistency of your porridge. But if you do it in the microwave, you sort of like try and do it without the protein powder and then do it after. You might have to add a bit more water. If you're going to try some boil water or hot water. Yeah, and I know it's adding more water, but you have to.
You've got to get the right consistency.
Or it goes cemented. Fine.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's basically it. I think. So oats, cinnamon, pumpkin puree, and I put a bit of pumpkin seeds. But what I've been doing to change it up a little bit, instead of putting pumpkin seeds, I put sunflower seeds, just a bit. So I put the pumpkin seeds in my banana blueberry porridge. This is the different one I do. What am I missing? Yeah, walnuts. And prunes. And I've got a couple of prunes in it as well. And that's it. That's the recipe. So I'll list it out again because I'm waffling on there. So oats, choice of milk, sunflower seeds, walnuts. Again, with the sunflower seeds, about 25 to 30 grams or less. So it's up to you. Cook it on the hob. Add the protein powder last. Add more water if you need it. And add the prunes at the end. And if you want extra sugar, if you're trying to stay away from sugar, like white sugar or honey, put some of the stevia in there, mix up this well. And a little tip, believe it or not, it does actually work. A little bit of salt as well.
A little bit of salt.
Sweet and salt. And that's sweet. It. That's
salt and sweet. It's best flavoured popcorn, that. Oh, dear. So some people might find it a bit of a challenge to manage their nutritional intake, like keeping track of it, making sure they're eating the right thing. Say if they're working a long day, they don't have time to go out, they might just grab a ready meal off the shelf and have that for dinner. Obviously, it's all right, but it's not at all great for you, is it?
It depends what's in it. I mean, some ready meals are not too bad. I mean, you got your Weight Watchers and was it Slimming World? I think they do. I don't think they do that stuff. I don't know. I'm not sure. I never really followed any of their programs. Nothing wrong with it. Just I never needed to follow it. Because you just got to be careful of any added sugars and too much salt. That's all you got to be mainly aware. And also, if you're intolerant or allergies to ingredients, check them as well, obviously. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I struggle myself to keep track of it. I'm sure you are quite good at keeping track, but I'm sure you do struggle sometimes, just keeping track of what you're having. But there's some really, really good apps out there that can help you manage it. We'll come on to those in a bit, but I think the overall aim is to just be sensible about it and make sure, like, say, a soup is a really good way of getting loads of vegetable portions in.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
You blend up a soup. Yeah.
I mean, and also for any kind of diet. I know we're going to move on to a bit about certain calorie counting apps or food tracking apps, but something I'm going to look into actually over the next couple of days is that instead of eating more, because there's only so much I can actually eat, and I'm actually working in a deficit. I'm trying to lose some body fat. I know it's not much of me in the first place, but I'm trying to strip down a little bit more body fat. So I'm in a bit of a deficit. But the thing is, if I was going to say like I had moderate, I'm eating actually more carbs, total carbs at the moment. I'm having about 230 grams a day, which is easily, actually, I quite like it, having a bit more a bit more carbs lately, sorry. The rule of thumb is if you're trying to lose body fat or if you want to reduce the amount of starch you're having, you could go to the keto way, but I did that. I didn't really get on with that too much. I did do it, and it was easier, convenient to do that way. Have like low carbs, high fat, medium protein intake. I'm not saying how many calories I was having because that's the reception, but as a rule of thumb, that's like kind of the ratios you work with. Yeah, it was good because you only have 2 meals a day, and you kind of quite feel saturated. Satisfied. Yeah, I mean satiated and satisfied. Yeah. Right. Doing that, and it was great, and it kind of worked for me. But I'll be honest, my hormones were a little bit like temperamental at times. It sort of, and plus not thinking, I fancy a bit of bread today, and not doing that. And I make keto bread and all that. I don't know. I think my body naturally needs a certain amount of carbs, and I think and in fact, because I'm having more carbs and a little bit less fat, I'm still having about medium protein. My body's like balancing out a bit better. But what I was going into is that if you're someone like trying to burn fat and without necessarily reducing insanely amount of carbs or going to the keto direction, you could like just reduce the amount of starch you're having and have more fibrous carbohydrates. But the only problem you run into there, you have too much fiber, you've been on the toilet all day, or you start having IBS issues, which you have bad stomach ache, bad cramps, and you'd be fine every time you're running everywhere, walking everywhere. So what I was thinking that like I'm kind of happy with my carb intake. So I don't know if I was trying to get big, like I know, like Henry Cavill, like if I was trying to get big like Superman or Aquaman or whatever, that my calorie intake would be high. That means my carbohydrate intake go up. Obviously, I can have more starches because I'm trying to bulk up if I was trying to get bigger. Yeah. But the problem is, certain people only can eat a certain amount of things. I mean, you can supplement carbs in like food, like shakes and stuff. So you don't have to have like solid like volume foods. But say you want to try and get more vitamins in, but you want some minerals and vitamins in, like more greens. Yeah. And you're not someone who wants to chug loads it down your throat all the time. You can get green powders and make a green smoothie. So you add in, you can get it in that way. And that's something I was thinking of doing. And that was the point in the first place I was trying to make. Is that there's another way to go. But make sure, obviously, whatever supplementation or brand you use, make sure they're legit and they're good high quality. Absolutely. Read the reviews always. Yeah. Always. Got to be from a trusted brand. Because I remember when you were doing the keto diet actually, and you were really, really into it. It sounded really interesting actually. It's not for me, but it does sound really interesting. And you actually came up with your own little recipe, didn't you? For I think you called them keto bombs, didn't you? Oh yeah, the keto bomb. So when I was trying to cut back on caffeine, but like but then I was having the old bulletproof coffee. Then that just turned into black coffee and a scoop of collagen powder. So what basically what it's doing, because it's under 40, the science or the people say, and I don't know if there's any actual real science behind this, because I've never looked at the science said. It's always fitness professionals and people's opinions on the feedback from doing this. Like, so you do so when you're doing keto, you also do intermittent fasting as well. And so I have like a black coffee with some scoop of collagen powder and protein powder, and altogether you're under like 40 calories. That's it, 40 calories. So you're not going to breaking a fast, so you can fast for like 16 hours, 24 hours, not 24 hours, but like a long fast, and then you eat in a condensed window. So, but one day I was trying not to have coffee, and I was having like a green peppermint tea or something. And then when I wanted that energy, I was making keto bombs from like coconut oil, cacao powder, peanut butter, stevia, a vanilla extract, and So I'm probably saying things wrong. I'm trying to think what I meant. A bit of salt. And then that was the foundation of it. And then you don't have to put peanut butter. You could put almond butter, any kind of nut butter you want.
You know what? I remember I tried one, and it actually tasted really nice. Yeah,
I did perfect it. I'm hoping I just saved my last recipe. If I didn't, I got it written down somewhere because if I want to make them again. But I was actually thinking today, like, so the keto bombs, but I was going to start making like flapjack bombs or flapjack bars.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they are handy. So. If you're not a big caffeine drinker, I think even if you're not keto or not, if you obviously take into account of you're gonna, because I think they're about like 200 calories per bomb. Well, as I measured out to be.
Yeah.
And remember, it's quite high in saturated fat, even though it's coconut fat. It's still saturated fat, and some people like myself, I can't handle too much saturated fat. Any saturated fat, as everyone knows, is any fat that turns to white. It normally comes from an animal source. You put the fat out, the saturated fat turns to white. And coconut is obviously from a nut, essentially. But you got to be careful of that. It's got great, like fatty acids, and they've got a lot of good nutrition in it. But like you got to bear that in mind, And some people start the keto diet, they slam all these bombs or do keto coffees, and they think, I'm fat burning, but you're still reducing calories.
Yeah.
And plus, if you start going over 40 calories, you're breaking your fast. But you don't have to fast and be keto. Some people can do it, some people can't. Some people prefer because it's more convenient not to eat in the morning, not until like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Have your last meal at 7, half 7, and you're done, and you just fast again to 1, 2 again the next day. It works for some people, but it all depends.
Yeah.
Works.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all relative, isn't it? It's just finding the best solution for you. There's no set rules necessarily.
That's the headache, unfortunately.
Yeah. So when you were doing all that, obviously it was very important that you kept track of your daily intake, wasn't it? And you used what app was it you used?
I was using FitnessPal first of all, and then I decided to use Chrome Monitor. Sorry.
Yeah.
Because I just felt it was for me. Obviously, those of you who don't know, I'm trained to be retrained to be a fitness professional. Plus, I want to be a health coach going forward. That it's just more in depth, and it could help me see where my nutrition was at, not just like the macros, but your micro, like your vitamins and minerals, and stuff like that. So it's easier to see, and then I slowly over time I could adjust it. But at the moment, I have been tracking. I need to adjust again. I'm not keto anymore. I'm in a deficit at the moment. I'll come up with some recipes. I need to adjust that again. But I just find it for me. Someone wants to know how much folate I'm having, or how much iron, or for example, I have actually got it on my computer screen. The omega 3 to 6 ratio, my polysaturated fats, my monosaturated fat, my what else have we got here? Like, I don't really look at this too much. I don't really know. There's different types of proteins. It's got all the proteins. So you got proteins, and you got different types of proteins, amino acids. That is, goes in there. You got your minerals. You got your vitamins. Water content, caffeine intake, alcohol. If you dial it in, and it tells you how much. Even though like alcohol's empty calories, but you can, in a roundabout way, get away with like still being. If you're training quite regularly, you're in the deficit or not. You can obviously can't just go. Yeah, I'm just gonna have all my calories from alcohol. I mean, fuck me, all day. I'm gonna have 3,000 or 2,500 calories from alcohol, but at least the way you can sort of play with it, like have like that sort of 75 or 8% ratio of whole foods and 20% of rubbish, and so it's the way of like doing that. And by doing, I'm not to say have 8% and 20% alcohol, but at least like when you do have it, you can see that I can have it and not have it. I mean, some people choose not to do it because I just want to completely be clean. That's fine. Yeah. But at least you can have it and see how you can get away. And only thing with tracking apps that I find still myself, it can be stressful. It is a bit long-winded, like we talked about the other week when it's so easy to be negative, or why we're so negative, or is that it is a bit of a pain in the ass in the beginning. But the only way to make it easy is keep it simple. Eat foods that you like. Yeah. Start creating recipes from that. I know sometimes you're just tracking everything, and even if you do point them to breakfasts, lunches, dinners, snacks, what have you. But really think about, okay, what combination do I like? And also think about what combinations of recipes actually go together, actually have a more of a nutritional benefit boost, because some infuse better together, and not just for taste, but just for like function better in the body, how they get absorbed as well. So that that's another like a whole different thing there itself, you know. And even I don't fully understand it, but that's something to think about as well. But it is a bit of a pain in the ass at the beginning. But at least it depends what you're doing it for. If you're doing it for like, I want to feel better, so I want to track what, you know, vitamins and minerals and what I'm having, or I want to see body compositionally what it's doing, nutrition, that amount of calories I'm having a day or whatever. The weird thing is, even though I'm in a deficit, because I normally my maintenance is 2,580 or 600, whatever. Yeah. My deficit is I'm only cutting about 200 a day. The reason why is that is I'm only because some people go in deficit do 500 and then they burn off another 500. So you're in a deficit of 1,000 calories. Wow. Now, if you're someone that's quite active and then you're training on top of that, you may not have enough nutrition going in your body to let your body like output what it needs to do. Yeah. So like I only cut 200. I think, well, if I burn 300 or 400, I'm, you know, like 500, 600 calories in. I'm not looking to burn loads and loads of weight. And it has to be, for me to go into, I suppose I'm cutting, if you will, but it has to be like I'd rather do a slower cut and see what works and not rush into it and get ill, because that can happen if you cut your calories too drastic too soon.
That's the best way. And on that note, that very informative note, thank you very much for that. I think we'll start wrapping up there. So thank you very much for listening.
What, already? I'm having a good time.
I know. As we said, this is the penultimate episode of the season. So make sure you stick around for episode 6.
What is happening? Before you go, Piers, what is happening in episode? Start again. Before you go, Piers, what is actually episode 6 in Camden? Let the listeners know. Yeah.
So we've now done 5 episodes. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back over them, just highlight the key points, and after we've done that, we're going to set ourselves a challenge for the next season. So it could be something from nutrition, could be something from quality over quantity, anything like that. And we're going to see if we can stick to it.
So we might pick like 1 from each thing, or maybe 3, or maybe 1. I would like to do, you know,
as many as possible.
Well, no, I mean, pick 1 thing from each episode. We both do for 30 days for the same amount of 30 days. Piers might pick, I'm going to have no coffee for 30 days. And so both of us doing it, and I'll go, okay, I'm going to pick that cactus smoothie or something. You know, do I feel better? Maybe not every day, but like maybe when it's needed to, or as myself, that Piers only mentioned it first time today, I'll probably look into it a bit more, and see what benefit it has by if you need to do it every day, or what the protocol you need to, when to use it. But yeah, we'll probably pick a challenge each. We might do it together, I don't know, but we'll let you guys know in the 6th episode then.
Absolutely. Thank you for listening. Of course, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, @Midweek Expresso. We'll see you next time.
See you next time, guys, and be safe, and bye.